everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess. I'm a mum of 2 children, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I'm also a qualified primary school teacher. I have taught in the classroom for 10 years, mainly year 5 and 6. Today I'm going to be talking about the importance of reading, how you can fit reading into your day, and how to make it accessible for your children. I hear parents saying to me all the time that they would love to read more with their children, that they haven't got the time or they don't know how to, or that their children won't interact with the books that they are being read. So they'll wander off and do things, that sort of thing. So today I'm going to be talking about reading and how we incorporate about an hour of reading every single day into our lives. I'm not going to say that this will work for everybody, but I hope that you will take away some really helpful tips and tricks from this video. In our house, reading is really, really important. I read a lot. My husband actually doesn't read a lot, but he does love reading to the children. And what I would say about that is quite a lot of people say to me, well, I don't like reading, or I don't read a lot, I don't have time to read. But actually you can find enjoyment in reading children's books because they're often more fun and you can enjoy them with your child. You can see the enjoyment on their face and that makes it really exciting to read. Let's talk about why I prioritise reading so much and how I think it's aided my children to develop. Obviously, my youngest is only 1, so I haven't seen loads of progress with her yet, but my 3-year-old, I can 100% vouch for reading every day for at least an hour and how much that's helped him with his vocabulary, understanding and development in. So the first segment of this video is going to be talking about reading aloud and why I read aloud to my children every day, or my husband does. The first and probably most important thing about reading to your child is the connection, the emotional connection of reading with your child, having them sat on your lap or sat beside you and you reading to them. Honestly, it has so many benefits you would not imagine. Number 1, it's a connection and a special time for you and them, and that can help regulate their attention span, their behaviour, their need for your attention. It also helps them to feel loved and appreciated, and also if they've chosen that book and want to read it to you, that's a really special thing for them. The second thing is that it helps them to imagine new worlds. So if you read a lot to your children, you will start to see how they're applying that reading to their play. So a prime example of this is that my child likes to play with blocks a lot, and when we read him Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he then made Charlie's Chocolate Factory out of the blocks, and we then played Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on repeat for a few days. So that's an example, and you will see that lots. Even if it's the Gruffalo book or a shorter book, you will see how that impacts on them. Not only that, it also helps them to learn empathy, how emotions work, and also learn about different cultures, different ways of living, different worlds and different environments. And all of those things are really important for your child's development. Having a range of books at home is great, and you can get so many books in the charity shop now for 50p and sometimes for free as well. That having a range of books at home is a really great thing to do. And I think it's about 20% of children in the UK don't have a book at home, which is really, really sad to think. But there are charities and things that are trying to change this, and books can be inexpensive if you buy them secondhand. The other thing is you might be given a lot of books, and I would say hold on to as many books as possible. I am not a hoarder at all. I don't like holding on to toys particularly, and I regularly have clear outs and donate those. But having a lot of books in the house is proven to have a big impact on academic success and also on your child's well-being and emotional abilities to regulate, that sort of thing. So having a lot of books in the house is never going to be a problem. I guess it is important to mention that reading is part of a huge educational tool, and whatever route you are going down with schooling your child, reading is always going to be a part of that. And so, especially in the early years, reading to your child is so much more important than teaching them phonic sounds before they start school. And that sounds really silly because a lot of people would say differently, but actually the more you read to them, the more likely they're going to learn the shape of the words and the sound of the words, and if words rhyme and those sorts of things, which are fundamental pre-reading skills. Learning phonics can wait till reception. In the UK, that's how early we learn them. Other countries learn them later, which I think is probably better, but that's my opinion. But phonics will come in reception, and if they go to preschool, they will also be exposed to sounds with the sound awareness of set 1. The other thing that reading does is it improves attention span, it builds on language and literacy, it sparks imagination, and it cultivates calm and connection. And most of all, it's my favourite part of the day. I absolutely love reading with my children. I find it really enjoyable, and actually I find it much more enjoyable than playing with them. Now I hear what you're saying. How on earth am I going to fit in an hour of reading a day? I work, I have 2 other kids, I have no time, they're all at clubs, they're doing things, I get it. It's really hard. And when they're younger, you might be at home a bit more, so you might have those more spontaneous reading opportunities that you're able to build into your day. But as they get older, you may not be at home as much, so you might find that it's harder and harder to fit reading into your day. So how do you do it? So most picture books are quite short, and every picture book is valuable, in my opinion, regardless of how many words it has. So picture books are a great option, and they're quite quick. So rather than turning the TV on in the morning, why not read with your child for 10-15 minutes? Get up a bit earlier with your child so you can read with them for 10 or 15 minutes. And they get home from school, have that moment of connection with them, structure that into your day, have 15 minutes to read with them. You can listen to audiobooks in the car, that's still valid, and there's a fantastic podcast called Fun Fables on Spotify. Don't know if it's anywhere else, but it's an Australian podcast, and it is amazing. It's so funny. The kids absolutely love it, and to be honest, we constantly listen to it in the car. My son absolutely loves it, and you can send in requests and things. So audiobooks is a great option. And then before bed, obviously, is a great reading opportunity. My husband usually reads for an hour with my son, and I read with my daughter for about half an hour then. Now, that sounds like a lot. Do what you can. That's all I can say. And at the weekends, you might have more opportunities to read. So you can build those in. You might have after lunch, you might have time to read a book. Spontaneously throughout the day, you might have time to read a book. And actually, you'll be surprised at how many opportunities you could fit in to read a book. The last thing I'm going to talk about in this video is screen time. And this can be a really controversial topic to talk about on the internet, but I am going to talk about it. We have quite strict limitations on screen time in our house. We do watch TV. It isn't a screen-free house, but we don't watch TV a lot, and we don't have iPads. So this is how we manage to fit in more reading, is because that is an alternative to screen time, and we value that a lot. When screens aren't constantly calling for our attention, we find that books and stories are our go-to instead. I'm not saying that screen time doesn't have a place, it does, but in our house, we prefer to read if we can, and I know that that's not always possible for everybody. Absolutely no shame in using screens, by the way. It is just our choice. We find that both our toddlers are way more dysregulated, and their attention span is so much more limited if they have screens available to them. So we don't actually have an iPad, that's just not something that we have, and the TV goes on for maybe half an hour a day if we need some time, or if they just need a bit of downtime sometimes. Favourite quotes is, "Children become readers on the laps of their parents," and that is from Emily Butchwald, and it's true. It's true. The more you read to your child, the better they are going to be as readers themselves. Finish off, reading for an hour a day did not happen overnight. We built up these strategies and techniques over time. It did not happen overnight, and you aren't going to drastically be able to increase your child's attention span to listen to books that frequently. However, there are positives to reading to your child for as much as possible in the day. The vocabulary that they come up with. My son the other day said, "Unfortunately, we can't go to the park." I mean, he's 3, and I can only think that that comes from the books that he reads. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this video, if it has encouraged you or inspired you to read more with your child, and I would love you to subscribe and follow along for more videos like this.